This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I am here at Beretta Farms, just outside King City in Ontario, with none other than Cynthia Beretta. How are you today, Cynthia?
I'm very good, Jamie. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's a kind of chilly, damp Ontario fall day, but
Good fall day.
But the colours are nice.
Yes, it is. It's lovely today.
So, how long have you been farming for?
Michael and I have been farming for 22 years. We have started out farming in Wingham, Ontario, and then moved to King City about 17 years ago, and just recently have moved to another farm in Orangeville, but the home farm is still here in King.
I believe that you have always farmed organically. Why did you choose to make that decision from day one?
That's a good question. Farming in general is should be organic, I think, always should be, but we decided to farm organically right from the get-go. My roots are Italian. My mother was really ahead of her time in the 80s and started a food co-op, and we only ate organic at home from a young age, and we used to always joke, you know, can we have some sugar in the house or some junk food? And my mother was very adamant that no, that wasn't going to be the case. She had a big garden, and when Mike and I met, and you know, he wanted to farm and wanted to put some pigs in my dad's barn, you know, I guess farming organically was kind of the only way we would ever have done it. The thought of using antibiotics or steroids or any sort of inputs just wasn't, you know, in our realm at all. And so it was just kind of the natural way to go for us, and it just felt right. And I think then starting a young family at a young age, and you know, raising children on a farm, it just never crossed our minds. And I think, you know, we didn't have any preconceived notions of what farming was supposed to be like, because we both came to farming not from a farming background, and so there was nothing inhibiting us from going the organic route. We were also really lucky when we moved to southwestern Ontario to be surrounded by an active organic farming group. And so we got a lot of advice, a lot of input from some really great people from the start. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
What are the largest challenges that a farmer who raises livestock organically faces if they are doing this in southwestern Ontario?
I think the largest challenges for an organic farmer in general, whether or not you're in Ontario or let's say in Canada, you know, it's the only one I can speak to, is that it's a much longer process than what a conventional farmer is used to perhaps doing, and it's a big change for them, and change to anybody is difficult, and so making the change to becoming and deciding to become an organic farmer is, you know, a big decision. But once it's made, it's also you know, very daunting as to not being able to go back to maybe the ways you've always learned and what your parents did, and so to look for alternatives, you know, should animals get sick, and how to treat them, and then also, you know, the actual process, you know, so chickens are, you know, almost double the length of time for a life of a chicken. You know, cattle are about another 8 months, you know, on pasture and or feed that you have to keep them alive and healthy. And so it's bigger risk. It is greater return, and so that's why what Beretta does is, you know, really work with farmers and keep them farming and doing what they're really good at, so that we can take the whole business part of it off of them, and, you know, contract them to grow for us and let them focus on what they do best, and let us focus on what we do best, which is bringing it to the marketplace and really helping those farmers along.
So now we're out here in one of the pastures, I guess.
We are.
And who do we have behind us here?
So behind us here we have a herd of mother cows and their babies. So these babies were all born, these calves were all born in the spring, between, I would say, April and the end of May. And they will be on pasture with their mothers until November-ish, when they'll get weaned from their moms. And then our bulls have already been in with this herd, so most of the mothers, we're hoping, are pregnant again, and we'll have again next spring. And so that's the cycle, what happens here. And so they go from pasture to pasture. There's about 300 acres here, and they're moved every couple of days. They're very loud right now because they're strangers in their field,
right.
And the mothers are looking for their babies, so that's what's going on.
How does Beretta Farms today compare to I guess, the size of it when you started with those pigs in the barn.
Yeah.
How widespread is your distribution, and who do you sell your wonderful beef to?
We've come a long way. When Michael and I started the business, it was me really going, on foot, knocking on doors and really starting the whole process of getting into small, organic health food stores and really getting our name out and, just very, very grassroots. And it was all very word of mouth, what we did at the beginning. And, referrals were our number one, and still are, I would say, our number one business and source. However, as the, knowledge grew of what organic was and what we were doing, and I truly think when Whole Foods came to Canada, and I think the other retailers said, oh, this organic thing is not just a passing phase, it's something that's here to stay, and people are interested in it and really want this product. And now I think you can probably go into a convenience store and buy something organic, maybe an organic potato chip, or I don't know, some organic drink or something, so the word organic is not going anywhere. It's it's staying. And so what's happened with Beretta is that as we've I think done very well at customer service and servicing clients and being a reliable source for organic meats, our reputation I think has grown. And so right now we service, I would say, the majority of grocery stores in Ontario. Across Canada, we are in Metro Quebec. We are in the Real Canadian Superstore out west in Alberta and British Columbia. And, it's expanding. We're trying to really grow our food service sector as far as being able to supply restaurants a bit better on a regular basis. It's growing. From, we still do a very, our core business, which is very close to our hearts, is our retail business. So our families that, were the ones that we started with. And so we still do a home delivery service that's very important to us. And but a lot of families now can, if they need something really quick, can go to Longo's or can go to Loblaws and pick up something very quickly. So it's become more convenient.
Well, Cynthia Beretta, thank you very much for having us up at your farm today and introducing our young boy Elliot to cows for the first time.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
And we look forward to catching up with you in the future. Thank you for coming on board with Good Food Revolution.
Thank you, Jamie, very much for your afternoon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.